Blessings, greetings to each and every one of you. Welcome. Welcome to Inner Light Ministries and our weekly virtual offering. I'm Rev D, Reverend Deborah Johnson. So glad to be with you here. Let's take a breath, huh? Let's take another breath. What a time we are in. And I know that we come here to recalibrate. That's one of my favorite words. We come here to just reset, to reground, to remember, to rejuvenate, to restore, to reignite that deep passion within us that knows and knows that it knows. Okay, we're in the world, but we're not of it. We're transcendent of it. And we come here to remind ourselves of that we're not the facts. We are not the circumstances. We are not the outer effects of what's going on. Who and what we are is so much greater than that. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about how our fates are intertwined. You're not here alone. You're not. And we're proud and pleased to be standing with you in a community. So just take that deep breath. Get away from all of the other distractions. Allow yourself to be fully present in this moment right now. Regardless of if this is your first time being with us, if you've been with us through the decades, know that you are welcome here. You are welcome here. I'm reminded of a situation because it was a story that I just told at the Martin Luther King Jr. March there in Santa Cruz last Monday. I was in the religious, Inner Light was in the religious contingency. And as we were winding up the march back at City Hall, I was having this conversation with one of my colleagues, Reverend Rabbi Paula Marcus. I had just spoken that Friday before for their MLK Shabbat. So we're just talking about people and their relationship to religion and faith and all of the rest of that. And I told her how there had been this one incident that happened that I'll never forget. I was standing, this is when we still had our Inner Light Center, and I was standing out on the front porch steps. There was supposed to be a concert that night with Linda Tillery. She had become ill. The concert had to be postponed. I was there to let people know what was going on and, to welcome them and whatnot, because it was way too late to try to reach anybody to let them know. So this woman pulls up and she comes up and she's all excited to see me. And she's like, "Oh, Reverend Deborah, I just love you. And I listen to your show all the time." This is when we were really big on community television in the Santa Cruz area. And she was like, "Yeah, I look at you all the time." She says, "But I don't do church." I'm thinking, okay, all right. You don't do church, but you listen all the time. So she says, yeah. She said, she said, there's, I don't do church. She says, "I don't believe in God." She says, "I'm an atheist." And I said, "Well, that's okay." I said, because it doesn't have to be God. Everybody believes in something. So she said, yeah, I believe in something. So I said, "Well, why don't you come on sometime and sit in the atheist corner?" And she goes, "Oh, there's an atheist corner?" And I was kind of joking with her, but I thought about it as I was talking to her and I said, well, not officially. I said, but I know that there are enough of you up there in the balcony that if you wanted your own section, I'd be more than happy to make sure you had the atheist section. And she was just so incredibly excited about the prospect of coming to church and sitting in the atheist section. And I'm not saying that to make fun of her. I'm saying that to say that regardless of your background, your spirituality, your walk, you're welcome here. You're welcome here. Actually, let's go over our inner light purpose statement just as a reminder of that. This says inner light is an open, diverse, inclusive community of individuals and organizations dedicated to spiritual transformation. We provide tools for activating higher possibilities by applying universal spiritual principles to all circumstances. Our aim is personal and global healing through the omni-faith energy of love and the revealing of our own inner light. Promoting life's sacred interconnectedness, we embody spiritual oneness, appreciate individualized expressions, and honor all paths that lead to spiritual truth, justice, and ecological regeneration. Let's breathe that in. Breathe that in. So, as we prepare for our chat today, we're going to bring up our affirmative activations. And if you are in any way able to actually say them out loud with me now, I want to invite you to do so. I choose to love my neighbor as myself. There's only one of us here. Our fates are intricately intertwined. I pause to celebrate the you that is me. We are awesome and a wonder to behold. I willingly choose to reconcile quickly. Judgment and blame find no resting place in my heart. Always and in all ways, I practice loving kindness. I deliberately speak words of encouragement and empowerment. Your name is always safe in my mouth. My presence is a blessing to those around me. Reveling in life's abiding joy, I love witnessing the triumph of the human spirit. Just breathe that in. Breathe that in. Notice if there's something that's really, really calling to you. Really, maybe it's we are awesome and a wonder to behold. Or there's only one of us here. Just notice. Maybe there's something aspirational. You really want to get there, but you're not quite there yet. Maybe something like, I willingly choose to reconcile quickly. Or judgment and blame find no resting place in my heart. Just notice. Notice. And I'm going to invite you to come back to these. Come back. You might even want to take a screenshot right now if you're on your computer, or maybe grab your phone, take a photo of it, You can always come back to this in our archives on YouTube. They'll be posted on our website as well. But the point is that this is just introducing you to them. It's when you repeat them. It's when you allow them to actually become embodied through the repetition that they actually start to um, take hold within you. Yeah. So just breathe that in. Yes. So there is a musical video that I'd like to share with you now called Home of the Brave. It's done by a wonderful trio of musicians. A couple of them are faves in Interlight and have been with us before. Karen Drucker, J.D. Martin, and David Roth. It was done, maybe 8-9 years ago by now. But I tell you, it is so beyond relevant and pertinent. It's somber, and it really speaks to this moment.
For the past 4 years, Guadalupe checked in to the Phoenix office of immigration. Both of her kids, U.S. born. But everything changed the day they took her away. In the home of the brave, in the land of the free, we are immigrants and pilgrims and refugees from every nation, one family. When you come for Guadalupe, you come for me.
For the past 2 years, Kamal made his rounds. Interfaith Medical Center, New York City. He went to Sudan to visit his mom. But everything changed. He couldn't come back. He was stranded
in the home of the brave,
in the land of the free. We are immigrants and pilgrims and refugees from every nation, one family. When you come for Kamal, you come for me. Give me your time, your poor huddled masses. This is America, built by dreamers, yearning to breathe free. If I had to leave my country, what would I do? If the way I dressed was a trigger for you, if I'm not welcome here, where would I go? Could I sail away on an unknown ocean of hope? In the home of the brave, in the land of the free, we are immigrants and pilgrims and refugees from every nation, one family.
When you come for Guadalupe,
For Kamal, when you come for my neighbor, you come for me.
That one gets me every time. Just breathe that in. Breathe it in. Mhm. We're talking about how our fates are intertwined. There's some kind of faulty, imaginary separation that we are somehow attempting to do here in the United States. And it's very destructive, and it's not going to work. I think that's what makes it all seem sort of extra horrific. You know, there's sometimes when people say that the ends justifies the means, that there's something that's just absolutely so compelling that has to be reached that you try to get there by any means necessary. And whereas we may debate that as a strategic tactic, the end game and where it is that all of this is trying to go, it's not going to work. It doesn't make any sense. Like it or not, there is one planet, there is one people. Climate change is not a hoax. I don't care how often this administration tries to say that. It's not. And people who are here from other nations, our great diversity is, in fact, our strength. Contrary to everything that is being said from the White House, life isn't just a deal to be made. Okay? Life is not transactional. Life is relational. Listen to what I'm saying. When things are transactional, they're separate, they are discrete, they're one-offs, and everything's a lot of quid pro quo. This for that. Okay? It's not like that. Things are relational. It takes time to build relationship, and it takes trust to keep relationships. Okay. You can't burn the house down, then come along with the fire hose, put out the fire, and want to get credit for being the hero for putting out the fire when you burnt the house down. Okay? What people are going to remember is not that you put out the fire, but that you started the fire in the first place. You can't treat people any old way and then try to walk it back, because the damage then is already done. I just have faith in a divine order. I have faith that there's something in the universe that's a whole lot smarter than I am, that is looking out for all of this aligning and realigning that's going on in terms of friends and allies and countries and who we're doing business with and working with. It's above my pay grade to be able to figure it all out. I just know that in my parents' generation, we dropped an atomic bomb on Japan twice. Okay. They're one of our strongest allies. And we fought against Germany, like one of our strongest allies. It hurts me to my heart to see what we're doing as a nation to our government workers, to people who've come into this country to study, to grow, to care for their children, to help build it. What we're doing to the planet with all the drill, baby, drill. It's like it hurts me to my heart. And I know that we can't just bow and capitulate and let this be like the last word. In the middle of all of it, we have to keep love in our hearts. We have to keep hope alive. Anacrim, heart open, possibility, and engagement. That's what we have to do. We have to keep our hearts open, stay in possibility, and stay engaged. I've shared this a number of times through the years. I just really loved it. I loved it so much that a spirit letter came to me in regards to it that's in my book, Your Deepest Intent. It was on the internet, a survey thing or compilation of 4-year-olds that had been interviewed and asked to define what is love. What is love? And my favorite was his little boy, Billy. And he said, when someone loves you, they say your name different. You know your name is safe in their mouth. That's deep. That's powerful. They know your name is safe in their mouth. Okay. That becomes one of my litmus tests for myself. And how much am I loving? How deep am I loving? Make sure your own name is safe in your own mouth. Is the name of God, or however you conceive that to be, the name of something, is that safe in your mouth? Okay. Let alone the people that you consider to be your adversaries. You can grow into that. But make certain that with our intertwined fates, that the people who are around you, that are close to you, family members, co-workers, people in your spiritual community or whatever, keep their names safe in your mouth. This week, I did the first of a Bible workshop that of a Bible series, and this workshop was called Daring to Care. It focused on the Great Commandments and the parable of the Good Samaritan. And you can still have access to this, anybody that wants to get that. But as I was doing the deep study and I was showing the Great Commandments, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all of thy heart, with all of thy strength, with all of thy soul, all of thy might. And that's the first great commandment. And the second one is to love your neighbor as yourself. It's attributed to Jesus for defining and saying that those were the great commandments. He didn't make those up. He didn't make those up. The first one is actually found in Deuteronomy, and the second one is from Leviticus. And I was showing in the workshop the context in which those were being given. That first one, and love the Lord your God with all your heart and soul and your mind and whatnot, this was given to the Hebrews by Moses as they were getting ready to go into their quote unquote, promised land. And it was just this whole litany of what to do with this, that you teach it to your children, you put it on your doors, you speak of this in public, that you engrave this deep relationship so that it is like everything to you. You are just like absolutely grounded in it, and what the foundational prayer that it is, and that it wasn't a singular prayer. Okay, it wasn't just as an individual for you to love God, but as a people, as a country, as a nation. This is what you are to do. You are to anchor in that. And can you just imagine how different life would be if that's what we did? If we anchored in that, okay? The same thing with the love your neighbor as yourself. Interestingly enough, that's actually the last part of that one particular verse. The verse starts with how don't avenge, don't hold grudges against the children of your people, and love your neighbor as yourself. But once again, it is given within this context of all of these different things that you weren't to do. You don't steal, you don't rob, you don't slander, like all of these. And I'm not just talking about like the 10 commandments. I'm talking about a whole laundry list. Make sure that you pay your laborers their wages like that day. Don't let the money still be in your pocket in the morning, is the way that it's quoted. How when you are doing your fields and you're harvesting, don't take it all. Don't take it all. Don't take the stuff around the edges of the field. Don't take the extra that's left over from the harvest. Leave it. Leave it for the poor. Okay. Leave it for the refugees. Some the interpretations say the aliens, but they're talking about the quote unquote strangers in the land, the people who are coming through. Like leave some for them. Okay. And like all of these different things. And within it is love your neighbor as yourself. And I feel pretty kind of confident inside that part of the reason why that was singled out in scripture by Jesus was to say that if you just did that, if you loved your neighbor as yourself, then all of these other things, nobody would even have to say. Okay, we wouldn't even have to talk about avenging and grudges and slander and stealing and robbing and swearing and coveting. Like, we wouldn't even have to talk about all those things. Okay, because your whole relationship would be different. Our fates are intertwined. They're intertwined. Stuff can't just happen to them over there. It's not the way life works. If anything, COVID taught us that. We don't have our own air. We're all sharing the same air. This way that we've cut aid all over the world and not getting ahead of infectious diseases, not even studying the stuff anymore or funding it. That's not that's not very wise. Okay? That's not very wise. Because it may seem to you like, oh, well, they're dying of that, like over there. But it's just one world. And we saw from COVID that a virus over there gets over here. Our thoughts are communicable, just like viruses. They're everywhere. And we're in this unprecedented era right now of having information just overload, bombardment of stations and channels and through the airwaves. Okay. All of that has an impact. It has an impact. And don't just be fearful or worried about social media or the news or all these other things that other people are putting out there. What are you putting out there? See, what are you putting out there? We can't take back. We can't unring the bell. You can't undo what's been done, but you can counteract it. If we take your own mind, for example, you can't unthink a thought. So worrying and stressing about what you did or what you said or what you thought about before just reinforces it. The only thing you can do is think a new thought. This is part of what's behind recovery programs, for example, 12-step programs in particular, where you have to learn to make peace with whatever has been. You can't undo that. Okay? But you can make amends. But you can't make amends without doing an inventory. That inventory is just that stark way in which you're willing to be accountable. And all accountable really means is this recognition that everything that you do has a rippling effect. Our fates are intertwined. You can't just do something on your own without that having an impact on other people. And when we are in full addiction mode, like this nation is in now, really truly addicted to power, addicted to money, addicted to violence, that when you're in that addictive mode, you're in denial. You can't see it. When you're in that full-on addiction mode, you can't see how the fates are intertwined. Not only do you not understand your negative impact, but I call it addiction speak. There's this way that our ego kind of plays a trick on us to make us think that what we're doing is actually a good thing. We're actually being the hero when we take this action or we do that. I did it for you, or it's for your own good. Oh, I did it for the family. Oh, I was just trying to protect you. I was looking out for us. You know, whatever that sad sob story is that we come up with. But no, our fates are intertwined. As we were going over this story about the Good Samaritan, and I was giving all kinds of additional context about it in terms of the people and the terrain and why it was being told and all of the rest of that. And I want to share just a little bit of that to help you understand this epiphany that came up for me right before the workshop started. And I knew I had to weave that into one of my sermons. So a lawyer has asked Jesus, like, out of everything, what is it that I need to do to be able to really have the equivalent of sort of like the everlasting life, which is not a bio life, but a qualitative life. And the lawyer is doing this to try to trip him up. Okay, he was a Pharisee, and they were known for not just the written law, but for oral tradition as well. And he's trying to catch Jesus in some kind of a trap. Jesus ain't going for it. So he says, well, what is it? What's written? What does it say? You tell me. So the lawyer tells him. And he's like, yeah, that's right. The lawyer says, love the Lord your God with all your strength, with all your soul, with all your might, and love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus is like, yeah, good. That's it. Yeah. That's it. But then the lawyer tries to trick him and says, okay, but who is my neighbor? Who is my neighbor? And that's when Jesus concocts this story. It is now known as a parable of the Good Samaritan. And he tells the story about how there's this man on the Jericho road, and he's robbed, he's mugged, all his clothes are stolen, and he's left there bleeding and half dead. Now, this Jericho road is a very treacherous road. In Jesus' day, it was about 18 miles long with a 4,000-foot drop. This was the road from Jerusalem to Jericho. Jerusalem sits about 3,000 feet above sea level, and Jericho is 1,000 feet below sea level. It's actually the lowest city in the world that has been inhabited the longest. Okay, it's in the West Bank of Palestine, and it's been occupied continuously for 11,000 years. Okay, very rich in history. So on this road, it's very windy. It was actually known as the Path of Blood because muggings were so prevalent. And in those days, clothes were collateral. Okay, they didn't have like currency per se, but it was your clothes. And rich people would often wear like all of their clothes as not only a sign of wealth, but of safety. because if they buried it or what they used to do to try to hide it, people could find it. So it just says a man was on this road. It didn't say like who the man was or anything, just like this generic man. And the first two people see him and pass him by. And the first two people are people high up in the religious order. Okay, the first one is a priest, and the second one is a Levite, sort of like a lower level of priests. They do more assistant kinds of things. The priests do the ceremonial and the sacrifices and all of that. And the Levites are a lower order of the priests. They would do things like the music and the treasury. They take the tithes and they would assist. They would assist. So both of them saw this guy and passed by. And there's all kind of theories about why they did. Maybe it would have made them ceremonially unclean if they touched him, which would have been the case. And it would have taken them another week to go back to Jerusalem to get cleansed again. Who knows? Who knows? The speculation is just that. The story just says that they passed him. Okay. Then it says a Samaritan came along and put him on his beast, put him on his donkey, and went down into Jericho, nursed the man's wounds. So that he poured wine and olive oil into them. The wine was a particular remedy in the day. The wine was kind of like antiseptic. The alcohol in it would cleanse the wound, and the oil would make it like a little bit more supple so that the skin didn't, harden and crack, that kind of thing. So it says he binds up his wounds, he takes them, he cares for them in this inn. And then in the next morning, when he's leaving, he gives the innkeeper 2 denarii, which was the equivalent about a day's worth of wages. And he tells the innkeeper, you care for him. You care for him. And when I come back, if you've spent more than that, I will repay you. Okay, so I'm already giving you this in advance. And if you go over that and have to spend more, I'm going to reimburse you. Okay, I'm going to make sure that this man is okay. But here's the thing, that the Samaritans and the Jews were arch enemies, completely arch enemies. That's part of the reason that people would do the Jericho road. Okay, the straightest route from Jerusalem to Galilee would have been like to go north. But Samaria laid straight in the middle between the northern and the southern areas there of Israel. And they weren't going to cross through that Samaritan territory. They thought they were untouchables. Okay. The Samaritans were mixed race. They were mixed race Jews and Gentiles. Okay. When the Assyrians had come into the area and had conquered, they had forced interracial marriage, which was a no-no, okay, with the Jews. So the Samaritans were this combination, and that truly, truly offended the Jews. Plus, they were practicing a lot of Greek traditions and things. And as far as they was concerned, just defiling Judaism. And the Samaritans had all kinds of issues with the Jews being, elitist and all of the rest of that. And they were constantly trying to get at each other and disrupt each other. That was going on like literally for centuries. Okay. And on this road, it wasn't uncommon for Samaritans to actually mug these Jews as kind of like a retaliation thing for some of the things that the Jews were doing to them. So the fact that Jesus would construct this story where the Samaritan was the one who helped the man I'm sure was like doubly offensive. So at the end of the parable, when he explains all this, Jesus asks them, of the three, okay, you've got the priest, the Levite that didn't do anything, and then you've got the Samaritan. Okay, which of those three, who was the neighbor to the man that was mugged? And the guy had to admit, the one who showed him mercy. The one who showed him mercy. In the story, it said that the Samaritan was moved. He was really moved to this place of pity and compassion. And it was a deep word that was used there that literally meant like out of the bowels. That he was just like gut-wrenchingly feeling for this guy who was mugged. And they admitted, well, it was the one who showed him mercy. And this epiphany came. And the epiphany was that the lawyer was asking for who is my neighbor by identity, like by definition, void of anything, just like a classification. And Jesus flipped that, where being the neighbor isn't about a predetermined identity. It's how you show up. It's how you show up. Who was the neighbor in the story? See that difference? Not just, well, who is my neighbor out there, but and who was the neighbor? Who acted like a neighbor? And this epiphany was like, oh, this is exactly where we are with citizenship right now. Exactly. Like, well, who is an American citizen? Like, who is that we're supposed to, love and bond with, who's supposed to get protections and participate in the American dream, like it's like some exclusive group. No, it's not like who is, but who's being a citizen, who's being it. And these folks that are being locked up and carted away and all of that, just like in the story of the Good Samaritan, they're already being it. They're already being citizens. Okay. They are already paying taxes, working hard, caring for their families, building businesses, being participants in their communities and in their churches, being of service, making a difference, making a contribution, contributing to the GDP. It's like all of these things that you want them to do, some of them being picked up as they are literally in the process, going to their court hearings, okay, doing everything that they're supposed to do, but having their visas revoked. They've jumped through every hoop. They didn't cross illegally. We gave them the visas, okay, and now taking them back because it's supposedly who they are or even what they did. And you know what? Even in prison, I'm not talking about these detention things, immigration, ICE things. I'm talking about like in regular prison, you get credit. You get credit. Okay? Not just like at a trial of how you performed on the outside. You get credit for what you did on the inside. There's this understanding that every single person has some kind of worth and some kind of value. Our fates are intertwined. They're intertwined. Okay. They're already citizens. Maybe they don't have their papers. They might be undocumented. But being an undocumented citizen is very different than being an illegal alien. And I want to encourage us to just adopt that as the language. Not even just like immigrants, what they're doing to immigrants, what they're doing to our undocumented citizens. In the song, it just said, when you come for all these different people, you come for me. Newsflash. That is what it's about. It really is not about all of these so-called aliens and all that. It's making it the norm to be able to snatch and grab anybody. The desensitizing of it, to keep going after more and more categories and classifications of people who are not down with this authoritarian agenda. Okay? So now is the time for us to realize our fates are intertwined. This isn't just about what's happening to other people. We see it happening to U.S. citizens now. There is no them over there. There's all of us. It's the old injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. So don't let it normalize in your mind. Don't let it become okay anywhere. Don't turn the blind eye and say, oh, well, like that's just over there. Well, that's just Sudan. That's just Gaza. That's just, no. That's all of us. Okay, take a breath. All I'm asking of you right now is that you keep your heart open. You stay in possibility and stay engaged. That you continue to envision, to imagine this world that can work for everyone. That it not just be a fleeting thought. If you don't spend but 5 minutes, literally just 5 minutes a day, I don't care how you do it. You can draw it, you can dance it, you can meditate on it. But recalibrate your feeling tone so that you can get into that as a reality. Not a pipe dream, but something that you can feel and experience deep within you. Just like if you're looking at children or you're holding a newborn baby, you can feel into them graduating. Okay, you can feel into them grown and successful, having their own kids or whatever, and just be flooded with that. It doesn't matter that they're only 5 right now. It's so real for you that you're working for that. You're not just caring for the 5-year-old. You are making sure that that world, when they become 20, is there for them and that they're ready for it. Okay. It's that kind of consciousness where we don't just reserve it for the people we're related to or the people in our community, but this is just our approach to life and to everybody. That's the space that I invite you into. Take a breath. Let's steal away into it now. Let's pray. Oh, we feel it. We can feel the power, the presence, the possibilities. We feel it. We can feel the peace. We can feel the prosperity. We can feel the forever evolving upward progress. We feel a propensity towards compassion, towards wholeness, towards forgiveness. We feel it. We give thanks in this moment for blessings large and small. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, for having brought us from such a mighty, mighty long way. We're knowing in this moment right now that all needs are met. Every last one of them. God is so good. All of the time. All of the time. Regardless of circumstances and condition, we affirm all needs met. Sufficiency. Whatever is necessary. Food, clothing, shelter. Companionship. Safety. Transportation, education, health care, opportunity, creative expression, liberty, justice, freedom, joy, love. Oh, all of that. All of that and so much more. Thank you, God. Thank you. We know that you're doing a mighty work. We just get out of the way. We allow it to be. So it is. So it is. We're a praying community here. You see, scrolling across your screen, are ways in which you can reach our prayer ministry. You can give us a call at 831-465-9090 at extension 254. You can also send us an email, the number 4, the word prayer, at innerlightministries.com. And one of our prayer practitioners will be sure to get back with you. We just breathe that in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So if you are looking at this in real time, this would be the last Sunday in January 2026. We invite you to join us Tuesday evening at the convocation at UCSC. It is downtown at the Civic Auditorium from 5 to 7 p.m. We are always one of the sponsors of that, and we'd love to see you there. Love to see you there. And next Sunday, of course, we will be here, online. And if you are in the Santa Cruz area and want to join us at the Resource Center for Nonviolence, Jamie Lula is scheduled to be with us. And we're just gonna, have a really good time. Have a really good time. Of course, it will live stream as well if you're not able to be there in person. Yes, and our time of conscious giving. Conscious giving. I thank everybody for all of your gifts and your donations. You'll see on your screen that there are a number of different ways in which you can make a contribution. You can use the QR code that's there. You don't have to use a PayPal account with it, but you can. You can use any debit card, credit card. The same thing with the text to give. Any debit card, credit card, 831-231-0065. And with almost any of these, there is a recurring option we encourage you to really think about. You may prefer Zelle or Venmo or Cash App. And whatever method that you choose, know that every nickel, dollar, and dime is going towards spreading this news, spreading this word of our oneness, our deep interconnectedness. And we say thank you for helping to underwrite our programming. And I want to invite you now to just let's bless, because blessing helps things multiply. Yes, let's bless these gifts, these tithes, these offerings, and know that our every act produces abundance. We dare to give freely unto the truth that sets us free. We release this gift, knowing it returns to us a thousandfold. A thousandfold. It's not a one-way street. Your generosity returns to you. So be sure to like us, subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. Check out our website for the offerings and things that are going on. And if you're interested in the Bible series, you can find that out. The next one is January the 31st. We're going to be covering Psalm 23. You can also find that on our website. Let us just take this consciousness and multiply it.